Hello there friends and welcome for today's Pathfinder guide. We have at long last an updated version of the most powerful build for the most popular, if not strongest early Mythic Path, Angel Oracle. And we'll be going with the newly released Dual Cursed Oracle archetype that simply makes you even stronger. As a matter of fact, this is a build that can do pretty much everything. You'll have access to the quite overpowered Angel Orbital Strikes spells to easily delete all enemies on sight at the very start of battle with quite min-max damage. We are talking about 39 d10 plus, and of course great melee damage potential as well, with many attacks per round, while also being quite fun to play from the very early levels, including Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, as you'll still be able to provide powerful buffs to support your party, can rely on a very powerful full scaling pet as early as level 1 that can easily tank for you, while also dealing damage, and of course you'll be quite decent at melee even early as well, while later you'll still be able to acquire an enormous amount of armor class. So to put it simply, you have tanking, melee, and also spell damage and support. What's not to love? It's the complete package. So without further ado, let's get started into our updated Dual Cursed Angel Oracle guide, first with character creation. For class, this time we'll be going with the newly released archetype for Oracle in the latest DLC, the Lord of Nothing, Dual Cursed Oracle, which, as I've already explained in my new archetypes guide, is definitely, well, pretty much the best Oracle archetype we have now, including being a solid upgrade over the normal Oracle. After all, it not only gives you even more revelations, the strongest unique Oracle class feature, but even two very unique revelations only you have, one of which is extremely powerful, if not overpowered even, Misfortune, which makes it so that enemies all around you will have to re-roll whenever they get a natural 20 on an attack roll or saving throw. Sure, it only works once per enemy, but you're always fighting new enemies and this is always in effect. Trust me, preventing an enemy from rolling a 20 once on, let's say, an attack roll can be a lifesaver, even early on, especially on, let's say, hard or unfair, where you take double damage. After all, natural 20s are automatic hits, regardless of how high your AC is, for example. The same for enemy saving throws. Fortune, it is not as good because you can't really choose when to proc it, but can still help if you fight a boss after resting. But anyways, it's mostly about Misfortune and even more revelations. And the main downside of having two Oracle Curses is nothing in comparison. Now for race, I'll be going with Human. It's not necessary, but come on, after all those Baldur's Gate 3 guides where I went with something else, it's just good to be back to humans being OP. Your background will depend on what weapon type you want your character to specialize in. After all, as an Oracle Angel, you can excel at pretty much everything, including melee and of course spell damage and buffs. The best pick for power anyways would be Craftsman and Lumberjack, so you can get proficiency with great axes, and the best weapon in the game is a great axe that you get starting from Chapter 3 at around level 10. But you can go with any other weapon type you want. For example, if you want more classic weapons, I know a lot of players like longswords or great swords, even rapiers, Leader is the way to go. And there's also, let's say, regional and Shackles Corsair for scimitar, and proficiency with mobility. I just rather the great axe for the best weapon. However, do note that early on, regardless of what you pick here, you absolutely want to go with long spears instead, as oracles have simple weapon proficiency, because long spears are reach weapons, so you can attack from safety behind a tank or a pet and so on. As far as your ability scores, Charisma is our main stat. A lot of nice oracle ability skill from this, besides of course your spells. Although for the angel ones you don't really care about DC because they always deal full damage regardless. So in a way you can actually go for a full-on strength focus if you prefer. So either 19 charisma or 19 strength. It's just that strength is the easiest stat to increase through buffs, and you have so many powerful buffs as angel for extra damage anyways, that even with just 14 starting strength, trust me, it's more than enough. Besides that, 12 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, and you can of course dump both Intelligence and Wisdom, as to start with 14 Dexterity if you prefer. For skills, definitely Persuasion, this way you can make all of the important dialogue checks, after all you'll have amazing Charisma. Besides that, just a few points into use magic device, around 5 is more than enough, because once again you can have very high Charisma, and UMD checks aren't really high for, let's say, casting spells from scrolls, from other classes. Besides that, just Athletics, but you can also go with Perception. For the Knowledge and Lore skills and the classic rogue ones, well, just leave them to another character, you have 6 party members after all. Now, for your level 1 feats, there's not much of a point into specializing into spells so early, at least for offensive spells, because you already have the best buffs anyways by virtue of being an oracle, and your buffs scale only based on caster level, which will always increase by just getting more oracle and later angel levels. Therefore, because I want this character to excel at pretty much everything, including melee power, I recommend you start with melee boosting feats, especially as always power attack, but most importantly cleave. This way you have 2 attacks right at level 1, and by default, oracles would only get a second attack at level 8. Well, you have it way earlier, as a matter of fact it doesn't get any earlier than this, it's level 1. For your dual oracle curses, ideally ones that have rather weak downsides. For example, Plagued, the -1 to disease saving throws means nothing. Just be sure to stay away from Wolf-Scarred Face because of the spell failure, Pranked because of the initiative penalty, and Blackened because of the attack rolls penalty. For the first mystery, Nature as always is the best mystery of them all, but later we'll also be acquiring Battle, another amazing mystery through Mythic Progression, so you get even more powerful revelations. And as a dual cursed oracle, we'll excel at just that. Now, for your first revelation, there's 2 ways this can go. Animal Companion is my preferred pick because the pets are that good in this game, and well, you know, action economy and all that. It's almost as if having an extra party member slot. And you also have 2 options here. Horse, if you want to ride your pet as early as level 1, but if you go with the horse, I'd rather change your feats for more mounted combat power, since you can do it at level 1, in which case ignore athletics and go for mobility instead, then grab mounted combat, but most importantly, as the second feat, Spirited Charge. By equipping a long spear with Spirited Charge, you will pretty much one-shot enemies by just charging at them, even very early. After all, long spears deal extra damage on charging, which is further doubled through Spirited Charge. On the other hand, you can also go with the wolf, which, to be fair, is better than the horse. The only difference is without spells you can only ride it starting from level 7, but that's pretty soon. I'd rather the wolf. Anyways, you can also delay the pet for level 3 because we get another revelation right there. And instead grab Misfortune right at level 1, as I said it's a super good revelation, broken even. It's just that level 3 comes so fast that I'd rather the pet first. I mean, for the whole first dungeon you'll be mostly at level 3 anyways. For unfair, you might prefer to pick Misfortune first. And as far as the second curse, Lame is my preferred choice. The speed reduction doesn't matter, you have many ways of buffing it through gear and the haste spell, plus of course riding your pet, and pets have super high speed. As to why not pick, let's say, Demonic or Hellbound, well, because they do have penalties to your persuasion checks for diplomacy. Powerless Prophecy can be quite good, but the downside is rather crippling for the first 6 levels, that is, being staggered for the first round of combat. It's really annoying. If you were starting from a high level, then it wouldn't matter, because starting from level 7 or 8, you can just cast the Freedom of Movement spell to become immune to this downside anyways. So Lame is the way to go for me. Now, as far as spells, as always, please remember that I already have a best divine spells guide to the side here, where I cover each of the best choices here in depth. For now, let's just keep it short and simple, so first, Shield of Faith and also Bless. For Deity, any that allows the good alignments, because we'll be going with the Angel Mythic Path. Seren Ray is a nice enough choice, but there's Shelling, also Desna, and even Iomede, of course. And for alignment, either neutral good or lawful good. Lawful good is slightly better in the long scheme because you can increase your saves even further through this, but honestly it doesn't matter that much. If you started with less than 10 intelligence, at some levels you'll get more skill points, but it doesn't matter, you just need persuasion to be fair. Then let's say athletics or mobility, use magic device until 5 ranks, and you can also go for, let's say, perception. For level 3, be sure to grab Cleaving Finish, this way you already have 3 potential attacks as early as level 3. For the second revelation, definitely Misfortune, it's that good, or the Animal Companion if you picked Misfortune before. For more spells, well, either Protection from Alignment or Remove Fear, or you can just cast them from scrolls. At level 4, increase either Charisma if you want more spell power, or Strength as I mentioned before for more melee power. I'd rather Charisma because there's more synergy with it. For the first level 2 spell, my preferred pick is Boast Strength because it's a really nice buff. Yes, it is true that you'll get this for free at, let's say, level 6 with Battle, Oracle, Mystery, but I'd rather have it earlier, plus as an angel you'll learn so many spells that you'll never run out of choices. Level 5 should be your last rank into UMD because 5 is more than enough with your super high charisma. For the level 5 feat you have 2 options here. Go for either Improved Initiative. Initiative is golden, especially because this build will get you roll initiative multiple times and pick the best result. And trust me, if you're acting first, you are deleting the enemies with your Angel Orbital Strikes or your super powerful melee prowess. Or you can go for Combat Reflexes. I'd rather delay this for later, because it's only really good when you have high critical chance, so level 10 with our great X weapon, and the outflank feat plus high criticals with all your party members, usually starting from chapter 3. Improved Initiative, however, has more of a benefit so early, I find. For the other revelation, Friend to Animals is my preferred pick. You have all of the Summon Nature spells for free, which is nice, but most importantly, a massive increase to the power of your pets. A huge boost to all of their saving throws equal to your Charisma modifier. It's not just for your pets, it's for the pets of all party members. And you know how powerful pets are in Wrath of the Righteous. Some might be asking why not pick Nature's Whisper, which lets you benefit from your Charisma to AC instead of Dexterity, and we do have high Charisma. Well, because early on I'd rather have the pet tank for you instead. For another spell now, Unbreakable Heart to remove Confusion on demand. By the way, Dual Cursed Oracles also have the unique Ill Omen spell, which is quite powerful as well, but gets better with more caster levels, especially around level 5 to level 6, because the enemy will then have to roll multiple times and suffer for it. For another second level spell, Aid is my preferred pick. You can of course go with the Skeleton Summons from Lesser Animate Dead, the new spell. It's just that it doesn't quite fit a good aligned angel, but there's no gameplay or story consequence for casting this as a good aligned character. Protection from Alignment Communal is another choice as well if you want. For your first level 3 spells, either Archon's Aura, an amazing debuffing aura, or Prayer, an amazing party buff. Now before increasing your character to level 7, be sure to level to Mythic rank 1 first and pick second Mystery Battle, because the revelation we'll be picking now relies on that. For level 7 the choice is simple as always, Outflank. It is after all pretty much one of the ultimate melee feats in the game, to the point every single melee party member including pets wants this. And for your revelation you want the battle ones now. And you also have 2 options. Either War Side first, which lets you first roll twice for initiative, then at level 7 you have Uncanny Dodge, and at level 11 you even get to roll initiative 3 times while picking the best result. When combined with improved initiative, which chances are you already have, and your high stats, you will always act first before enemies, including bosses, which of course is amazing when you can just destroy them with your Angel Orbital Strikes or super powerful melee hits. But if you want more melee power, you can also go with Weapon Mastery now for free improved critical, weapon focus, and greater weapon focus. It's just that since the best weapon for us only comes at level 10, and we get another revelation at level 11, I'd rather delay this for then and grab War Sight first. For more spells, Divine Favor and Lesser Restoration. You can also pick this earlier instead of, let's say, Aid. Then Archon's Aura or Prayer, depending on what you picked before. For level 8 as your first level 4 spell, Crusader's Edge. Always you want this on every single melee character 24/7, including pets. For your level 9 feat, this is when I would start increasing our spellcasting power, because right at level 10 you'll merge with Angel and get the extremely powerful, if not overpowered even, Angel spells, including the best buffs in the game, including the Orbital Strikes that destroy everything on sight. First with Spell Focus and Conjuration. It's not that spell DC matters much for Angel spells, it's just for knocking enemies down, you'll always do full damage, but with the latest patch, we can now choose spell specialization even into mythic spells, which of course means even more damage for the Angel Orbital Strikes. And this feat is necessary for that. Any other low level spell, and remove Curse, plus Restoration, or Freedom of Movement or Death Ward. You'll get them all later anyways. For your first level 5 spell, my preferred pick is Spell Resistance, because like I said, you'll already be merged with Angel at this point, which highly increases your caster level for even more spell resistance, to easily avoid most enemy spells. For level 11, as I mentioned before, this is when we want Spell Specialization into the Angel unique Bolt of Justice spell for even higher damage. It doesn't show here because I haven't leveled to Mythic 3 yet with this character, which is when you get the Angel spells. But you will already have it at this point. I'll just be picking something else. But it should be Bolt of Justice, okay? For your Revelation, now it's time for Weapon Mastery, as at this point we already have the best weapon in the game anyways, the Gravesinger Great Axe. The game will keep asking you what spell to specialize into every single level. It should be Bolt of Justice until you get Storm of Justice, the area of effect version of it, which is around level 13 to 14. Then Weapon Focus into your weapon of choice, in my case Great Axe, the same for improved critical. Any low level spells now. And I also like Protection from Energy Communal, because the best Angel buffs, well, they give you resist Energy Communal but not Protection from Energy. Then Burst of Glory for another level 5 spell. Because at this point you'll be merged with Angel already, you'll also start learning way more spells than what appear here, including even higher level spells. Angel is that good. As a matter of fact, you'd already have access to what? Level 7 Angel spells at this point? Then Greater Weapon Focus into your weapon of choice at level 12. And for the first level 6 spell, Greater Dispel Magic, because once again, Angels have very high caster level, for even more chances of this working with more effects dispelled per spell cast. For level 13, be sure to pick Meta Magic and Bolster spell, because at this point, you have not only Bolt of Justice, but also Storm of Justice, and, well, this can enhance their damage even further. For Empower and Maximize, you can just rely on multiple other effects like the best staff in the game. Then for a Revelation, either Nature's Whisper, to add your Charisma to AC, we have such high Charisma after all, and yes, as I said, you can tank with the pet, but it still helps to have high AC on the rider, because we have the space for it, of course. Or you can grab the second unique Dual Cursed Oracle Revelation, Fortune. It's just that, like I said before, it's not as efficient as Misfortune, because you can't really choose when to proc this, unless you're, let's say, fighting a boss after resting. Then Freedom of Movement, or let's say Restoration. Plus Breath of Life, and the Heal spell. For the first level 7 spell, either Greater Restoration or Bestow Grace of the Champion if you went with a lawful good Angel Oracle. Now, because at this point, level 15, you absolutely already have both Storm of Justice and also Bolt of Justice, including level 9 slots with Mythic Angel spells. This is when I recommend you multi-class for even more powerful Angel Orbital Strikes, with of course another new archetype, Sorcerer and Geomancer. The Geomancer's unique ability will directly enhance your spell damage. For 1d6 per spell level, it's built in when you cast a spell, and you can even increase this to twice the amount by casting double spells per round through, let's say, Quicken, Metamagic, Rods. Angels can increase this even higher because their Sword of Heaven ability also increases the damage of your Geomancy powers, for a total of 13d6 per spell cast. That's 26 d6 extra damage if you go for double spells. So if you thought your Orbital Strikes were powerful enough, well, wait until you add the Geomancy bonus to the mixture. Just one level of Geomancer is more than enough. And for the feat, because we want to enter into the Lore Master Prestige class soon enough, grab Skill Focus, and either Arcana or World, it doesn't matter. Then keep specializing into Storm of Justice, of course. And for the Bloodline, be sure to go with Arcane, because it's the only one with a bonus that we want. The Arcane Bloodline Arcana, which will increase the DC of your Bolt and Storm whenever you apply the Bolster Metamagic feat to them. For the extra feat, well, you might as well grab Greater Spell Focus into Conjuration. And of course, the Hair Familiar. This way, we not only roll 3 times for Initiative, but we also have a built-in +8 to Initiative from Improved and also the Hair Familiar. Not to mention your Dexterity bonuses, of course, so you'll always act first to easily delete enemies with your Angel Orbital Strikes, which of course are also at full power now by virtue of all the Angel levels and Geomancer Sorcerer. Any class skill here doesn't matter. And for the Sorcerer spells, just Mage Armor and True Strike because they don't rely on caster level. Now you can either already enter into Lore Master or grab another level into Dual Cursed Oracle for the last revelation. I'd rather Lore Master, however, because the bonuses can really help. And well, you have a lot of options here. If you want more melee power, then Combat Feat and also the classic Shatter Defenses. Besides that, also improved Cleaving Finish, because we do have the normal Cleaving Finish. You can also go with Rogue's Secret and grab another one of these bonus feats, even both of them. Weapon Specialization also, including Mythic Weapon Specialization later on, because this is a prerequisite. Amusingly enough, you can still pick the Trickster Special Critical Feats, but I imagine it's an oversight, and they will remove this eventually enough. I'm just saying you can pick them if you want. I'm not, because chances are they'll remove it, as they've done many times in the past. But I suppose if you wanted Ultimate Power, then improved Critical and Great Axe would be the best choice. Just saying, they will remove this. Or the classic Opportunist ability from Rogue for another melee attack per round. Anyways, I'll keep it simple and go with Combat Feat and Shatter Defenses, plus the Eagle Soul spell and Greater Restoration. We still want 2 more levels into Lore Master, and for the feat at 17, Boon Companion, because our pet's levels will only scale with Oracle levels, not with Geomancer or Lore Master, and we want it to fully scale to our level, of course. Then Frightful Aspect at level 8, with this you can easily proc Shatter Defenses. As for the last Lore Master level, well, it's the choices I mentioned before. I'll just go with Rogue and Opportunist. Then the Resurrection spell, plus Shield of Law. Now I would resume progression into Dual Cursed Oracle, because we already have 4 levels in classes that don't increase our pet's power, and Boon Companion only works with 4 levels. For another feat, well, you might as well go with Combat Reflexes, unless you picked it way earlier at level 5, in which case improved Initiative instead. And that's pretty much it. Even Lunge can work if you want more reach, but you have side spells for that. And for the last revelation, well, in my case, Nature's Whisper. For level 9 spells, Mass Heal without a doubt. I would also keep the last level in Dual Cursed Oracle, but you can also go with Lore Master. It's just that, as I said, our pet won't fully scale then. Also, to get the Mythic level 10 Angel spells, you will need either Dual Cursed Oracle or Lore Master. If you go with something else like Alchemist and Vivisectionist, you will be blocked from level 10 Angel spells. And they are quite powerful. So Dual Cursed Oracle is the way to go for me. And the last spell specialization into Storm of Justice as always. After all, it does uncapped damage based on your caster level. For Mythic level 1, well, Close to the Abyss is amusingly enough the best first ascension if you want more melee power, because the extra gore attack is nice. Despite being the demon thematic first ascension, there is no consequence whatsoever to picking this. You'll still be a full angel with all full angel powers and so on. Of course, you can also go with Close to the Heavens, the angel thematic ascension, if you want better healing potential, which I think early on is definitely the way to go. For Mythic level 1, this is very important. You want Second Mystery and Battle. Battle has some nice spells, but most importantly it's the revelations we are after. For the second mythic level, it's the same choice for any full caster, especially one merging with Angel or Lich. Extra mythic ability and abundant casting. We want as many spell slots as possible, especially for the Angel spells later on. Mythic level 3, very simple, improved abundant casting. Of course, this is also when you merge with Angel, and as I mentioned before, you'll get loads and loads of more spells to learn. You can truly get everything that matters in the game. But as I said, I already have a best spells video to guide you through these choices. For Mythic level 4, the last of the abundant line of mythic abilities, Greater Abundant Casting. As you will already have even up to level 8 Angel spells at this point, with soon enough level 9. For the first Sword of Heaven, as usual, Everlasting Flame so that it lasts longer. And as I mentioned, you'll keep getting loads and loads and loads of more normal spells. The Genie kind spell can be nice if you want to benefit from the Master Shapeshifter mythic ability early, as I didn't pick it through normal progression. Starting from mythic level 5, you have a few different options if you want more melee power, ever ready. Otherwise, Master Shapeshifter can also work, because like I said, you have access to Genie kind, and later Frightful Aspect. You can also get started on the Enduring Spells line, with later Greater Enduring spells for 24 hours duration on most of your spells, including 1 round level ones. I just don't think it's that important for an Angel character, because you have such high caster level anyways, and as I wanted this character to excel at both melee and magic, I'll be going with Ever Ready now, especially because I didn't pick the Combat Reflexes feat early, although you can if you want, and this also increases the number of attacks of opportunity we can make. For the first Angel Halo ability, Piercing Rays always. For Mythic level 6, we want a Mythic feat, and you have two options. For more melee power, Mythic Critical and your weapon of choice. For more spell power, School Mastery and Conjuration, because this will increase your Storm and Bolt of Justice Orbital Strikes damage even further, and I really wanted to min-max that with this build, so it's what I'm going to pick here. Then Abolish Guile. For Mythic level 7, in my case, Master Shapeshifter for even more physical stats. But there's also Mythical Beast, even Mythic Charge if you have a Scald to provide a Pounce ability for you. Archmage Armor can also work if you want higher AC, because you will have the access to the Mage Armor spell by virtue of getting 1 level of Sorcerer. Anyways, I'm all about providing you with all the options you could want. Just be sure to pick what you find works best for whatever character build type you have in mind. For another Angel Halo, Solar Winds. By the way, this is so busted with Geomancer that, as I mentioned, your Sword of Heaven will not only increase the damage dice of the Geomancer ability, but Solar Winds will even reduce the damage you take from it whenever casting spells. For Mythic level 8, this is when I'd go for Mythic Critical Great Axe, but you can also go for Mythic Initiative, Mythic Power Attack for more melee damage, or even Mythic Spell Focus, which I don't find necessary at all for this build. For me, Mythic Critical Great Axe. Then Speed of Light. It doesn't stack with haste anymore, but it's still 2 extra attacks, and also works for spell casting by providing with free Quicken Spell with up to level 7 spells, including of course Bolt of Justice. As for Mythic level 9, well, Mythical Beast for me, but you can also go with, let's say, Last Stand. It's just that angels are amazing at staying alive. As a matter of fact, they even have a self-revive. The last angelic halo is up to you. Blinding Light, Burning Bright, or Flame of Life. And as far as Mythic 10, you can truly pick whatever you want based on the choices I mentioned before, including Mythic Power Attack for even more melee damage, or another Mythic ability. Alright, now let us cover gear for our dual cursed Angel Oracle build. For the amulet, you might as well go with amulets that increase initiative earlier, but later ultimately Valexias as always, for the extra bonus to your charisma score. Armor does not matter for this character at all. Early you can go with whatever, including, let's say, Mithril Chain Shirts, but ultimately I prefer Haramakis, including, for example, Haramaki of Divine Guidance, as they won't prevent you from applying your full dexterity or charisma modifiers to AC, unlike normal armors. For robes, early you might as well go with robes that, for example, increase spell penetration, but ultimately the Robe of the Seven Sins is the ultimate choice by virtue of providing you with such a huge caster level boost, which of course directly enhances your Angel Orbital Strikes, even increases the save of all your spells. It's the best rope in the game. For belts, early on you might as well focus on belts that increase your physical stats, especially strength and constitution, or strength and dexterity. But ultimately, Aradan's belt at chapter 5, it is the ultimate belt in the game after all, well, besides the one you get from Playful Darkness on Unfair. But that requires a new run. Anyways, the damage boost to both attack and damage is absurd, plus even being able to reflect enemy offensive spells. For gloves, they don't matter that much, but if you want higher damage, Fencer's Gift, even their Stern Hand to buff your pet's stats, just be careful of the will saving throw to make it go berserk. And ultimately, Embroidered Gloves if you want the highest bonus to armor class at chapter 5. Boots also don't matter that much unless you picked the Powerless Prophecy Curse, in which case the boots that grant you freedom of movement for free will prevent the curse's major downside, or you can just cast the spell yourself. Ronek Sacrifice of course is always the best choice for the highest bonus to AC possible, or just leave it to a dexterity based character. For headbands is very simple, headbands that increase your charisma. The earliest one is found right at chapter 1, but ultimately Darkness Caress. For glasses, just the goggles of Piercing Gaze, but you can also go with Broken Trickster glasses starting from chapter 3. As far as cloaks, just the Cloaks of Resistance with the highest modifier, but ultimately starting from chapter 4, you absolutely want the Angel Mythic Cloak, because it will increase your spell damage even further. For rings, as always, Triumphant Advance is the best in slot for pretty much any character. And you might as well also go with the Bane of Spirit here, because through the Solar Wind's Mythic Angel power, you will become almost immune to the hit point cost to activate Bane of Spirit, and this is one of the best rings in the game. You only take 2 damage instead of half your character's level. And for bracers, just bracers of armor with the highest modifier later, once you get to apply your charisma to AC, but honestly earlier you can just keep to the engraved lucky braces you start the game with. Now let's cover weapons and quick slots. As I mentioned, I decided to go with the Gravesinger Great Axe because I do find it's the best weapon in the game for damage. But don't forget, you absolutely want to go with long spears for chapter 1 and even the second chapter, although by then you can ride your pet, so you can also go with something else if you prefer, until Gravesinger. There's 2 other weapons that really enhance the power of this build, however, but it's all about your spells now. First, the Plague of Madness Quarterstaff, which is a Crusade relic, found as early as chapter 3, and also the ultimate Blaster Caster Staff in the game, as it will automatically empower and maximize your spells for ultimate damage. And well, it's pretty easy to apply this as always. All you have to do is cast the same spell 3 times in a row, and by the way, you can just spam a cantrip like Light 3 times on your character, and that's it. Out of battle, of course, so that you start battle with the staff's benefit. And by the way, you can even change it for another quarterstaff during battle and still retain the benefit. The best choice would be Fiery Spellweaver later on, because of course it increases your caster level even further for higher angel spell damage. For the quick slots, just the classic Meta Magic Rods package, although once you get Plague of Madness, you kinda don't need them anymore, because it's free in power and maximize on every battle once. After all, you can just use cantrips as I said. But anyways, Grandmaster's Rod, the Devouring Lust, most importantly Greater Quicken Meta Magic Rods later, so that you can instantly cast Bolstered in Power and maximize Stacked Storm of Justices. Just Jarsigax, the Dragon Familiar here for higher melee damage later on. The Covenant of the Inheritor Relic to bypass Demon's physical damage resistance, but you can always leave this to any other character as it works based on an aura. The Signet to increase any skill of choice. Spells to cast spells from other classes because we do have high ranks in Use Magic Device. And you can also go with the Old Grimoire for higher low level spells. Well, alright friends, so this was it for my updated Dual Cursed Angel Oracle guide. Everything works as far as the most current patch, and this is definitely the most fun build in the game, at least in my humble opinion. As always, if you found this guide useful, please remember to like, subscribe, and also consider becoming a channel member if you can. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for watching, see you next time, friends.